I said stay away. We don't all need strep throat.
Knock on wood. I rarely get sick like that.
Well, I had COVID back in April again for the second time.
Never had it.
Really?
Never
Well, I'm out.
vaccinated either.
Like I don't wear a mask. I don't do that. I'm
everyone, or evening, or whatever it might be. We certainly appreciate those that are here to being with us. Also, before we get started, I want to wish everybody a very happy New Year. Well, I think we almost forgot to do that Monday night. We were so busy getting everybody sworn in, and the swearing at started right after that. But we had a good night. If I could, I'd like to ask Mr. Carl Converse, new executive pastor at the First Baptist Church of Loganville, to come up and do the invocation for us.
Thank you, Skip, for the invitation. Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, God, I thank you for this evening. God, this is the day that you have made, and would we just rejoice and be glad in it. I thank you for the men and women in this room committed to make Loganville a great home, a great place to live, to do business, to serve in churches and nonprofits, God, a community that's welcomed my wife and I so beautifully the last couple of months. So God, would you just be honored and glorified tonight as we meet and discuss the business of this city. God, thank you in advance for how you're going to speak and move in this place. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Carl. Appreciate you. We certainly wanted to get you introduced to the community. And where are you moving from?
Whitfield County, Dalton, for the last 17 years.
Okay. Well, welcome. You'll find Loganville a great city, great people. We do have our differences at times, but that's okay. All right, who here is a veteran? Okay, Chief, come on up, come on up. Could I ask you veterans to lead us in the pledge? Okay, okay. You can stay where you're at, Harold. You okay? I'm sure it'll be fine. Just for info, I don't think I'm mistaken on this, Harold, but I believe you are the longest serving member of the American Legion in our American Legion here, which is one of the biggest in Georgia. Yes, sir. Gotcha. He's always got a lady by his side. Yes, ma'am. Okay, looking at the roll call tonight, just to notate the minutes, we have 2 council members missing. That'd be Brandon Whitfield, and that would be Bill Duvall. All the other 4 are with us, and we'll go from there. We need an adoption. We need a motion to adopt the agenda. Okay, we have a motion to adopt the agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the agenda is adopted. On the consent agenda, if you're looking, all of you that have a write-up of this, there's 3 things that we agreed on Monday night that we would put on the consent agenda. That means that everybody on the council agreed that these things need to happen and we're going to pay for them or whatever it is. One is the approval of election invoices. Walton County Board of Commissioners, we were charged $28,633 for them handling the last election. Ours is a little bit higher than some because we are part of Gwinnett County, so things have to be handled in Spanish as well as English, and we also have to have someone at the polls who can speak Spanish at any time that that's requested. So it's a little bit more expensive than the other cities. We also agreed to the appointment of Solicitor Larry Steele to be our city solicitor. And we certainly combined the city work session and the council in December, and the minutes of both are in the write. The minutes of that meeting is in the write-up, and the December financial report. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's approved. I thought they was going to hold out on me on that one. Okay, now we're going to run down to different committees. Planning Development Committee, Lisa Newberry.
Mr. Mayor, we have nothing for this month.
Okay? Yeah, we do.
Okay, we have one thing for this month. And I'll call Danny up to the podium.
Thank you, Your Honor, Council. So, as you all know, Tim Prater retired this past month, and Robbie Swartz has been working along with him for the past year, trying to learn all he could, but it's extremely hard to learn that many years of service in 1 year. But Robbie's done a great job at it. He's taken several classes since. We do have a plan for Robbie to continue with his classes. We're talking about even getting his master's in planning. That's down the road. But tonight I'm going to make it official that I have officially promoted Robbie to the planning director, effective immediately. Robbie is here with us tonight. He loves to speak. So, Robbie, the floor is yours. You have all night.
Come on, Robbie.
You got to speak at the microphone. I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, you got to have a microphone.
I had to teach you how to do it, I guess.
And Robbie has already been sworn in.
Oh, no, this is gonna be
Probably.
short and sweet.
More than once.
It's been an honor and a pleasure to serve the citizens of Loganville for the past 8 years in different capacities. I certainly look forward to the new role that I will be doing, and hopefully, I've already enjoyed a great meeting with Council Member Newberry with some of her ideas and the vision that she has for the planning and future of the city. So really, I'm a man of few words, so thanks and look forward to it.
Great.
Okay. That's
Well,
all I have.
there's two things that I've learned over my 10 years being with council and mayor. There's two areas that takes a heck of a lot of knowledge. One is law enforcement. Some of our guys have to know these books of what laws are appropriate and when. We had 2 officers that had their master's degrees, as I recall. 3, many of them have their bachelor's degrees, and that's great, because it's a lot of information that you have to recall quickly. And the other one is planning and zoning. It is difficult, and many times I watch as they get asked questions, and people expect answers again at that moment. And sometimes the answers are available, and sometimes we have to do research. It's just not as easy as many people would think. It's someone may have a particular project, and well, these questions are no big deal, but it's one of thousands of possible projects, so you just have to be ready. Thank you, Robbie, for stepping up.
Yeah, he's pretty bashful, but he does have a master's in communication, so Robbie is a pretty smart guy. He was our information officer, did all the write-ups, articles. One of the biggest reasons Robbie stood out to me was his passion for research. He does a lot of reading. He tries to prove me wrong any chance he can get, which is not, he does. He's a smart guy. He's smarter than I am. But that's one of the big reasons. You got to have somebody that role that knows how to read and interpret, because if you know anything about attorneys, no offense, Paul, they love to write stuff that only they understand. So he does a great job of deciphering it. Yeah, it is. But Robbie's a good addition to the team, and look forward to it in many years. Hopefully that'll be my last appointment in planning and development. So I can retire, and then they can worry about it. So
I wish Tim was here tonight.
yeah,
He's shy.
he's probably watching. Hello, Tim. We miss
I
you.
hope so. Miss you,
So-
Tim. We did have a question up here on the council for you, Robbie. Have you been sworn at yet? No? You telling a story. 24 hours and haven't been sworn at? That's pretty good. Well, that's true. That's darn good. I know when I became mayor, one of the first days I came down to City Hall and I looked in my mailbox and there's a big envelope. And so I wonder what that's all about. Well, it was a lawsuit about a car accident. Thank goodness it happened outside the city. So I had the pleasure of calling those attorneys and say, hey, you wrote it to the wrong people. If you could, send it to Gwinnett County. It wasn't here. But when you first see the envelope, you start wondering to yourself, it's going to be a lot of this maybe. Anyway, anything else, Danny?
Not for that, I don't.
Okay. Can we move on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll move on to Finance Human Resource Committee. Ann Hunsinger.
Mr. Mayor, I have no actionable items, but I would like to say that you are the thorn in the roses tonight up here.
I had noticed.
So,
I just told Christy that I was outnumbered tonight, and I realized it. She said, well, some people wouldn't think that's a problem. And I said, I didn't say it was a problem. I just said I'm outnumbered. But that's okay. Glad to have you guys here so we could have a meeting.
all right.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ann. Move now to Public Safety Committee report. Melanie Long.
I don't have any actionable items tonight, but I do want to thank all of our fire and law enforcement today. I think we had a very active day in the city. There were multiple wrecks, one involving a school bus. There were no injuries, and the fire department had a brush fire, I believe you said, Danny. And then we had multiple medi calls today. So I want to appreciate them. They were all very busy today, but that is all I have. Thank you.
I believe
Okay.
this
Thank
week
you,
is
Melanie.
National Law Enforcement Week. There you go.
I heard that a high-ranking police person was going to leave the police force and go drive a dump truck.
Yeah, I heard
Is
that too.
true?
I heard that, that Assistant Chief Warnock there was looking for a second career in dump truck driving. A few more years? Okay. All right, well, we're gonna keep you on reserves though for that is, okay.
I saw a picture of that. You were on the edge. You were on the very edge. Always on the edge. That's true. Okay, very good. And thank you for helping with that. That's a big project going on. And everything's an emergency sometimes. And tomorrow we get more rain come about 11, 12 o'clock. Okay, we'll move now to Public Utilities Transportation Committee. Bill Duvall, who is absent tonight. So, Danny?
Yes, so the reason I continue to stay up here, we have a long discussion, I'm sure. We do have some pictures we'll show at the end. I know we've all been in communication with phone and text, email, but we had a Stonecrest at Creekmore Lane. We had a road that washed out due to a dam failure that we believe what caused, part of it caused it. Certain unknowingly, I'm gonna back up. We don't have conclusive evidence what caused it other than a few factors. One being several issues with the pipe, the amount of rain we received. I was told we had 5 inches in that subdivision in 24 hours. That's a good amount of rain. But the pipe washed away, the dam failed, the road washed away, one lane. We were able to salvage one lane of the road. We had it closed that night for traffic. Just didn't feel safe with cars going over it. We immediately stopped heavy equipment, trucks, buses. We did allow passenger cars until the right side caved in, and then we stopped all traffic. You know, we had a lot of effort. I'm going to thank a lot of people when we get to the
Yes,
end,
sir.
but I'll just tell you about the where we at. So tonight, the road is stable. They poured concrete over the hole, so it has plates. It is set for the storm Friday or tomorrow. So we feel very confident, and you'll see in the pictures what they did, what ER Snell did. But a little background, I gave you a staff report. Sorry for a small font, it just did that, printed that way. But at noon on Tuesday, I got a phone call from Stormwater Department in Brandon that they had an imminent road failure. We get there, immediately called ER Snell. The president, Scott Briscoe, asked him if he had crews that he could send. He did. His response to me is they'd be there within an hour. They showed up with 3 guys that do stormwater. Our crews told us from the get-go that this was too big of a project, not just for our experience, just for our equipment. This pipe was about 25 to 30 feet in the ground. Our equipment goes about a max of 18 feet. So we knew right away that we would have to call help. So we were fortunate that ER Snell sent crews. Within a couple hours, they had equipment on the site, and they started to dig. And the biggest issue that we faced was the sidewalk was over the 2-inch gas line that was going to fail or fall. There was no dirt, no nothing, just the sidewalk. So we was able to secure that sidewalk, knock it down in the hole. But they were out there all day Tuesday. We left Tuesday night about 10:30, I believe. We were able to shore up the road. They started at 7:30 the next morning, driving what's called H-pile and I-beams into the ground to put steel plates behind it so they could backfill, because you'll see the big hole. Can we go ahead and show those pictures, Mike? If you're not familiar with the terms, it'll make sense when you see the picture. So this is the moment we got there. You can see the sidewalk, there's nothing supporting it. This is the hole looking towards the dam. So below that is a pipe, 48-inch to a 60-inch pipe. We don't know because it's completely crushed. We believe it was a 48-inch pipe that was installed 2 years ago by the HOA. Now that pipe sits inside of our 60-inch pipe, which is under the road. Keep going. So you can see the dam is slowly washing away because the water just swirls, and that's what eats the road away and the dirt away. Keep going. That's looking up into the pipe, so you can't see it, but there's a pipe in there. Keep going. So they had to get in on the dam side and actually dig so they could try to find this pipe, because the whole time we're dealing with water, we can't see. The pumps that we had are not big enough to pump this much water, because this is actually a live stream that flows through this pond. So it's not just a retention pond, it's also a stream. Keep going. So that's looking into the pipe. That's part of the pipe at the bottom. You see it's crushed. There's a 60-inch opening in that concrete vertical structure. It's dirt all around it, but there is a pipe inside there, I promise. That is the temporary dam. So everything that we tried to do, we met with a resistance. We tried to pull that pipe. It just kept crushing and coming out in pieces. It's 30 feet down. The banks were unstable. We were, scared of a collapse. So E.R. Snell came up with an idea of putting what we call a spillway, and that is just plastic from Home Depot we went and bought that night before they closed, and backfilled with what's called riprap rock to keep the plastic from washing away. And we slowly let the pond drain because it was building up. It rose about 5 feet while we were there. And, if you know anything about hydrology, that's a lot of pressure on a dam. Keep going. This is the next morning. As you can see, the spillway worked. Now they're driving, and that's those vertical steel structures. Those are what's called pylons. They drive those in the ground, but the biggest issue here was you got, I forgot how many thousands of volts that is of wire on the right side. You got a 2-inch gas line on the left, a fiber, and then more fiber. So we had to play in between these utilities. Keep going. This is just them moving it into place. There's the pipe you can actually see. Now it's just crushed. And this is yesterday evening. You can see the road is just about all the way open. We put concrete barriers just to keep people from driving in the hole. So that is about a 18-foot section of roadway open. It will support any type of vehicle. Keep going. This is just more from last night. Keep going. And that is today. They drove more pylons. You can see they put these steel plates that holds the road back from washing into the dam side, and they backfill it with gravel. Right now, that's about 200 tons of gravel we went and purchased in the last 48 hours. Keep going. Keep going. And that is the temporary spillway. That is all in preparation for tomorrow's storm, because we know it's going to rain another inch. So we feel confident that's going to hold. And that is the finished product as of today, where they actually filled it with gravel and then backfilled it or smoothed it with concrete. Keep going. Now all this will be tore up again when they do the permanent fix. So concrete went down. They're going to put steel plates over it, let it harden, and then remove it for traffic until they start the work. I think that should be it. You got a movie if you want to watch a movie. This is them just driving. I had to mute it because, the thing about construction workers, they don't use the best language.
Danny, will those pylons all be pulled out?
Yes.
Okay, so those are just
This is
temporary?
all
That's-
temporary.
Okay.
Yep. All right, you can go. That's, I mean, it's just them driving those pylons in the ground. Same video of it, just more pylons. So before you, that repair cost is $29,060. That is under my authority under emergency repair. You just need to ratify it tonight so we can pay E.R. Snell. The permanent fix is in the packet I sent you. This was received this afternoon. The permanent fix just for E.R. Snell is $694,127.90. That's just for E.R. Snell. A not to exceed for Precision Planning for engineering and inspecting this project is not to exceed $25,000. And then I also put a 5% contingency in there just in case, for those new members. Whatever you approve, I cannot go 1 cent over. So if they come back and say it's $100 more, it has to come before the city council because it's a project. So we always try to put, contingency. Usually we do 20%, but with this, we think it's already, pricey, so we feel confident with 5%. So with everything said and with the gravel we've already bought, the $29,000, the $694,000, and $25,000 for engineering, you're looking at a estimated cost of $788,763.25. And I'm asking that y'all approve that from ARPA funds. I know several of y'all want to know the balance. So as of today, the balance of ARPA with everything that we've earmarked and spent is $2,627,729.25. If we expense this, that will take that total to $1,838,966. So $1,838,966.
Is what would be left.
If what would be left, it would be used the full amount plus the 5%.
And that's keeping in mind, we were gonna fix Tommy Lou Fuller with ARPA money, but we probably changed our mind on that one.
Well, it definitely changed it, but, it's good to have these funds, not to scare the citizens. If we didn't have this money, we do have other money, capital recovery money that's for these projects, or we also have, that's what my opinion is reserves are for. So this is not touching either one of those. This is money that has to be spent by 2026. So this is a good project for it. It's infrastructure. It's approved from the federal government. And the other cost is 199 tons of gravel, 200 feet of 6-inch or 6 mil plastic that I bought, and then 40 feet of 48-inch pipe, which we do not have the cost, but I expect that's going to be a couple thousand. We got that from Walton County. Now, any questions before I start thanking people? I know.
You said that the HOA replaced some pipe a year or two ago. Was that all done the way it should have been done?
Yes.
Do we think that that contributed at all?
What the engineer told me was it could, but there's no way to tell.
Let me interject here. We're going to explore all available options before we make any decisions. If insurance claims need to be made, we'll make insurance claims, or if we need to look at liability issues, we'll look at liability issues. But before we dig into that, I would suggest that we let the,
Danny, I have no questions.
thank you.
You suggested we take care of the emergency first?
Yes.
It's bad when an attorney tells you to hush and you're in court, isn't it? This is court. You're in court and he tells you to hush. That's bad. Okay.
That's why we pay him to tell us what we need to hear, not what we want to hear.
Well, I'm a little surprised that that pipe was only 2 years old. But
I will say the pond was in compliance. I
good.
will tell you that. It
That's
was
good.
inspected and it was in compliance.
okay,
So Danny, I just have a couple questions. I know we talked a long time yesterday about this, but when you mentioned the equipment that we didn't have that E.R. Snell had, is that something we need to look at investing in?
No, I think this is something Brandon and I discussed in his department. That equipment E.R. Snell had was, we're thinking 600,000 price tag. That's something that would be used maybe once. The 20-something years I've been here, we've only used our big machine once since I've been here in the field. So I think it's, what we've done since now is I spoke with Scott again today, and we're gonna do an emergency repair vendors. So if you have these type of incidents, Precision is working on a modified contract that we can put in contract in place, that we have a unit price and a man hours, that if we have an emergency for water, sewer, something that outside of our scope, we can call ER Snell or another contractor and get these projects. So speaking with ER Snell on site, they just got done with Hall County. They do it they were a contractor for Gwinnett County, which, Gwinnett, I'm surprised they need help, but, ER Snell specializes in this, and I think it's better to have a contractor like that versus just buying equipment that may sit. And they're about to be in the city, so.
And it's wonderful you could get them that quick. That's surprising.
Yeah, and the other thing is, so when Bill or whoever goes out and inspects the ponds, do they have the proper, or do they need better equipment to get up in there in these pipes to see a potential catastrophic failure that,
No, I don't think, there's certain signs you can look for catastrophic failure. Most of it's just your eyes. But, no, I think they got all the equipment they need. They know if there's something they need, all they have to do is ask. But I don't believe this is just I think, like you said, a perfect storm. It was a lot of water in a small period of time.
yeah,
Water-
and the other thing that you really hadn't pat yourself on the back for is you spent a lot of years here building up the reserve fund, which is for catastrophic. A lot of people want to spend it on our wish list, downtown or whatever. So kudos to you guys for building up that fund, so if we ever had to dip
Yeah.
into it, it's there.
That's what me and Natalie both agree, that the the reserve is for either one-time purchases or emergency events. You could have two of these and you're looking at $2 million. It's hard to collect, but it's easy to spend. Yes.
Did you say that there was another suspicious area over at First Baptist Church of Loganville in their parking lot? You didn't say that. Good, good. Carl, just wanted to keep you involved. Okay, we need a motion to follow the staff's recommendation and get this emergency situation resolved. Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second?
Okay, motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Danny, do what you got to do.
Thank you. And I want to just take probably a couple minutes just to recognize some people.
Yes, sir.
They may be watching, but but we talked about this last week at Triad, even though Janice wasn't there. She asked me to speak, but I'm just sorry, I'm just kidding. But we talked about relationships with the county, and, not only having a relationship with ER Snell, it takes years to build those, but I picked up, also, we needed some pipe that we didn't have, so I picked up the phone, called John Ward, who was the county manager for Walton County, and said, hey, we need some gravel, and we need some pipe, can we have some? He goes, you can have whatever we have. So then I got in touch with John Allman. He is the Public Works Director for Walton County. I think I left my house, I had to go get my truck and trailer to go get pipe, because all the stuff we had was being used, and then we went, I don't know, what time did we go, Greg? 8 o'clock at night? Something like that. We went and picked up the pipe. So he had a guy, his name was Steve, I believe, that, that loaded my pipe, loaded Greg, old trucker chief over here. He drove the dump truck. He was, let me tell you a little story about that. So he showed up about, I don't know, right after work, I believe, 5, something like that, wasn't it? On the scene. He says, can I pretty please drive a dump truck? I said, you sure can, son. So he went home and got permission from Natalie to come out and play with the boys. She said yes, and then he got to drive the dump truck, so.
I'm surprised Paul didn't come with him.
But that's this kind of staff we have here, they'll do anything. So thanks to Walton County for helping us. Public Works, Jeremy Armstead, he was so happy to be out there working. I think Jeremy spoke to me more in the last 2 days than the last 8 years I've been city manager. His crew stayed out there. Cletus, the Highways and Streets crew leader. Brandon Phillips, the director. Did he leave? He was out there. Field manager Joe Stansel, that's Brandon's second in charge. Bill Braswell, he's the foreman from Storewater. All his crews, and especially to Jarius. Jarius is the man that volunteered to spend the night out there so nobody would fall in the hole. And then Eli came and relieved him about 4 o'clock in the morning, so thank them. We had the fire department out there, used their ladders, so Chief Johnson, Battalion Chief Jason Ford, Lieutenant Jacob Morrow, and Kevin Rickman, Sergeant. Even the police chief came that night plus the next day. We were talking about Cody's where they were driving those things in the ground. And then also we had special help from the Gwinnett County Public School Transportation Supervisor, Mo Smith. She's the one that came on scene and how to reroute the buses because they couldn't go across to deliver the children to the home. So the parents had to come out and meet the school bus, and we shuttled them back and forth in our gators. And then also hats off to Breckenridge citizens. We typically get yelled at, but they actually brought food, water, snacks, coffee. They thanked us on Facebook, which is very rare for us. It's not rare for public safety, but it is rare for public works and public utilities. So if they're watching, thank y'all. We're gonna send them some special gifts from myself. It's just, it just makes the guys feel special when people come out here and just say, hey, here's a Coca-Cola, here's a pack of crackers. And that's what they did. So hats off to them. I think that's about everybody. If I missed you, I'm sorry, but of course, Bill, our council member, he came out there, he stayed for hours. If y'all know Bill, he's a very smart engineer, and I was bouncing off ideas off of him, and he was like, well, no, we can't do that, but we could probably do this. And then him and Precision were talking about ideas. So me and Bill, we talked the last 3 days, like every couple of hours. So it's good to have an engineer that works with us and knows what to do and has contacts too. So, but with all that being said, we are looking at all the other pipes in the city. For the new council members, we changed the ordinance 2018-19 to not allow corrugated metal pipes under roads because they have a 20-year life, and all these subdivisions are hitting 20 years. So now it's a concrete, it's more expensive, but it's a 50-year versus a 20-year shelf life, maybe longer. So they're out now, crews are out now inventorying all the metal culvert pipes, and we're gonna start probably another rehab project in the near future of lining those pipes with fiberglass or reinforced concrete to keep this from happening, but it is a cost, but more than likely y'all come back to y'all with ARPA funds again to use it for that. So we have a lot of subdivisions that are in that 20 to 30-year mark that have streams flowing through them. A lot has changed since then, but back then we had no stormwater, no regulations on that when they were being built, and now we're paying the price. So that's what staff's doing today. Any questions?
Very good. You want to mention something to Brandon since he was out when you were talking about him? He's back.
Oh, I was thanking you and you got up and walked out. So, but no, Brandon, his department is one, him and Public Works, they stayed out there since Tuesday, and I think they left today right at 5 o'clock, I believe. So they do this. The public don't see it. They see nothing against the public safety. They see them, they praise them, and they should be praised. But they don't see the two guys working at 2 o'clock at night, cutting water back on. And they do it every day, all day, every night, every week. There's something that needs to be fixed here. They had a sewer main break today. They were out. They don't, do it for glory. They just do it because that's their job. So that's why we try to buy them lunch when we can, take them stuff, to show them they're appreciated. So.
Absolutely. Thank you. Sure.
Danny didn't brag on himself, and I'm gonna say something special about him because it may pay off for me in the future. But Danny was up early Tuesday morning in all that rain, driving his truck, taking pictures of all the places and sending them to us, and I was so grateful for that. He even stopped by with Bill, the senior citizen that spoke on Monday, and even Chief got involved, that spoke on Monday night about some drainage problems in the neighborhood. Danny went over there early that morning to make sure, Danny and Bill, to make sure that that drainage in that little neighborhood was okay and nobody was getting their houses damaged and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's those little things, the big things we see and we appreciate most of the time. We hope we appreciate. I hope your people are thanked. But Danny did some yeoman's work himself. I think he was on site pretty much 24/7, not 24/7, but 24 hours a day. So I just want y'all to know that. I didn't realize what all Danny did, so it's been new to me. I appreciate it greatly, so I just felt I needed to say that.
Thank you. Well, we are a team, so it's not just me, it's these department heads, you know, we've been doing it ever since we've been here. It just, you know, coming from the bottom up, you know, it was nice seeing the bosses come up and support you, so we continue that. Staff continues it, and, we'll keep working, so. Brandon, you got anything you wanna say? You good? He's a man of few words, too. But
Since we approved the money for the repair, you good?
he loves it didn't come out of his budget, so. But we did have a lot of flooding. I'll just briefly talk about that. We had a lot of issues with flooding. Broad Street here, you know, we've continued to have that flood, but until the state fixes their pipe, which is undersized, there's not much we can do. Up to this, you know, every time heavy rain comes, the crews go out and make sure the ditches are clean, but, you know, with all the leaves that fall, they do get clogged. So if you see something, call 911, call Public Works, call City Hall. If it's after hours, call 911. Don't email them because they're not going to see it at 1 o'clock in the morning. Call 911 if you got a water out or something. Police will come out and look at it, and they know who to call. So, Claude Brewer had another breach out there. I spoke with Miss Ashwood today. The crews were, actually our crews found the breach, called the contractor, sent a crew to fix it. Tommy Lee Fuller was a big flood. That's something we're going to have to address. But when you get 5 inches of rain in 10 hours, it's not much you can do. So. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet now.
But that should eliminate the worry about a drought this year. Because we were 7 inches of rain under average. So we,
5 inches of rain in one day doesn't
that makes it tough.
stop drought.
Makes it tough. Okay, we'll move now to Public Works Facilities. Patty Wolf.
I didn't think I was going to have anything tonight, but this was sitting on my area here when I got here. Can y'all hear me? I'm not sure what I'm going to be reading, so hopefully y'all will know what Public Works trash report.
Yes.
What trash does this involve? It's not like. Okay. Gosh, really? Total bags are 8, total pounds 115. Public Works chipping report, total stops 197, total tons 11.25. I had a talk with Jeremy, and it is amazing what these people do. I didn't even realize what all they do, which as the months go on, I hope Jeremy and I can get together and we can come in here and show some slides and do some stuff. So I was shocked. They do it. They put the Christmas tree up. I didn't know they did that. It's just amazing. So anyway, but that's all I have for this evening.
Okay, very good. Economic Development Committee, and Lisa, I believe you're going to sub for Brandon?
Yes, Brandon doesn't have any announcements for tonight, and there's no events to talk about, but he did want me to mention the American Legion is having music bingo tomorrow night at 6:30. Admission is free. It's $10 to eat if you'd like to eat. And they also host bingo on Sunday, Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And of course, all the money they raise goes to support the veterans in our community.
It's a good group over there, too. Okay, is that it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Move on to the city manager's report. Have we already had it, Danny?
Nope.
Oh, Lord.
So we met Tuesday before the fiasco, and we are going to start replacing all the electrical outlets on Town Green. Events, Christie and Facilities Director Dustin, we all met. And the problem is all those outlets were done with really not a lot of thought in my opinion, because they trip when people hook to them. So we're going to fix that. So we're going to have to dig up Town Green a little bit to put new circuits in, new boxes. So we'll start that project in the near future, and also we're probably going to start remodeling Anna Holbrook in the near future. We're working on bids now, and that'll more than likely come before the council for, it'll be over my limit, but we'll see. That's all I have.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And that is city attorney updates. Paul Rosenthal.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing new this evening, just you'll see coming back before y'all next month, the open records resolution that I discussed on Monday, as well as the updates to the development regs to solve that fence in the easement, drainage easements problems that we discussed. Happy to answer any questions you have, but those will be back before you for your consideration and hopefully approval next month. And of course, if there's any questions or edits that you want prior to next month, then feel free to email me or call me, and we'll check with staff to see if they have any changes as well.
If I may ask, what's the time frame you're looking at for the alcohol ordinance?
I've got one more meeting to conduct, and then after that meeting, we're going to get busy drafting. The perfect world and goal is to bring it back to y'all for consideration February, then passage in March. If I don't think we're going to hit that, I'll let y'all know. I like to get it to y'all about a week before the meeting, just because it's a bigger, more comprehensive update, a lot to digest. There's a lot of details in it. So our goal is to have it to y'all about a week before the February meeting so y'all can see it. It can be discussed at February, and then it can come back to y'all for passage in March. That's the goal. If I don't think we're going to meet it, because it is kind of a big rewrite, I will certainly reach out and let everybody know, but right now that's the goal. And at worst, then it would be March, April. So either February, March, or March, April.
Okay, just so we get there.
But we've got it in process, and like I said, we've got one more meeting tomorrow, and then we'll get to writing because we've got a lot to do on it, because it's a big rewrite.
Okay, very good. We're trying to keep you busy.
Don't worry, you are, collectively.
Okay? Thank you, Paul. And if there's nothing else, could we have a motion to adjourn? We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second?
Gosh, thought you was gonna hold that one and stay longer. And we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting is now adjourned. Thanks, everybody, for